saying?
I wasn't recording. Now we're recording.
Okay. I told Sarah last night I have no idea what I'm going to talk about today.
She just said that before.
And she read that as what?
I've got something really great to share.
Oh, I know what, basically. I know what we're going to talk about tomorrow, or I've got the thing. And I was like, what? And she didn't say anything back. So I thought she was going to surprise me, and I was
so
waiting
confused
for
by
it.
her what. I didn't know how to respond.
This is how you know who your best friend is.
I've got a lot of
They
things.
hear who you want to be, not who you really are.
I don't have what we're going to talk about, but I do have like several things in a check-in. Also, I'm going to have to go to the bathroom in a minute, and I'm going to have some bites of this thing.
Okay.
Parker has been, well, wait, I don't have like the topic. I don't have the thing. How are you? Hey, Jenny.
Oh, hey, guys.
Oh, welcome.
Oh, hey,
Momcult
guys. Hey, yeah,
Therapy.
welcome.
Mom therapy. Momcult therapy.
I don't know what
No,
we call
I think
ourselves.
it's just mom therapy.
Mom
is it?
therapy.
Yeah.
I didn't even know we'd come up with a name.
Yeah.
We talked about it.
I don't know if we talked about it with you, but we talked about it.
Yeah.
Glad. Hey, I'm just here to show up, sit at the corner of the table, and feel like I have something to offer humanity for 30 minutes.
At least you're at the head of some table in your life. No, you have full permission to, if you got something to say, Sarah, just
Sarah.
say it. Because like I said,
Well, I'm just going to say this,
No.
but
Do it. Go.
we don't have to talk about this. I'm just going to leave it, and then we can move on from it. But he's like having really strong music preferences, and it started with Dreams by the Cranberries, which was like a dream for me. And I was so happy.
Yeah.
I was like, this is it. We like danced one night around, I'll cry. It was like, we danced around the living room with Eric too. And it was like, this is so magical. Wow. And then I'm not sure. I guess Eric must have played Zombie by the Cranberries for him. And he only wants to listen to Zombie. And so, and if you don't know what that is, listen to it. But he just hears, Zombie, and he really likes the rock sound. And
Sure.
And I see him in the back now. He mouths all the words, and I'm like, oh my God. But it's like about, I haven't looked it up, but what I'm gathering is like the war in, God forgive me if I'm saying this wrong, but like the war in Ireland, and which, everyone's sort of aware, at least peripherally. We're all, I'm going to say the wrong thing. I'm sweating now. But,
Like
with
a
everything
pop quiz in history all of a sudden.
yeah.
everything that's going on in the world, then I'm like seeing visuals that I've sort of seen on Instagram and then moved away from, and we're listening to it literally on repeat to and from school or anytime we're in the car.
Are you worried that he's like picking up on what the lyrics mean or something?
I've told him. I'm like, I get that you like just the sound and you don't really understand what this means, but this is about war, so it really bums me out. So I can only listen to this a little bit. We're going to have to temper this with, and so I've played for him Poison by Alice Cooper, and this morning I looked back and he was, I'm going to send my sister like the lyrics, be like, he knows all the words to this. Sorry, I'm getting all away from the microphone. Sorry, y'all. Y'all really were concerned. It's like black lace on sweat. Like, it's like all about this girl's kiss being poison and, But what I liked is that I think his sense of humor is so great that he got that Alice Cooper's being funny. He was like, can I listen to that old man that's funny? and he seems, Alice Cooper seems like very serious. A lot of people took him seriously, but he was trying to be funny, and I think that I was really proud of that.
See, that's a piece of history I didn't know. Thank you, Sarah.
You should watch the documentary about him. I love him. And also then I like sort of accidentally, or I'll be like, oops, I don't know what this song is, or I'm trying to like not listen to Zombie again. And I've heard various Alice Cooper deep cuts that are like really, if you like that kind of thing, they're great. But they're all kind of all over the place. I really like, he's very smart. He's like a marketing guy, really. He just created this crazy character and didn't realize it would be taken so seriously, but it was taken really seriously. So that's Pop Culture Corner.
Wow.
Yeah. And then...
I didn't know that's what the Cranberries song was about.
Right.
Well, God, I think it is.
My mind is blown.
That's how I'm interpreting
Parker
it.
knew before me.
Right.
Not Dreams, but Zombie,
Right.
I think that, Bomb, it's like pretty overt.
No, I just don't think there's so many songs that I grew up listening to that I still, like I might know the words, but
we don't know what they mean, right?
I also played this other song that I love that's like one of my favorite songs right now called Kill the Noise, but it's like by like 7 people. It's Alex Newell, Nile Rodgers is on it. It's so fun. So I like forced him to listen to that. He was crying at first, but then he like got into it, and then we danced to that. And then I'm like, his dancing is very, I don't know what I would call it. I don't want to go too far down that road, but anyway, it's great. Let's just say it's great. And he and I think, I think last time we talked here in this, that I was saying we were clicking into like a new zone. I felt he's been preferring Dad. He still does, but he's like, we're like laughing genuinely, and he's like thinking I'm funny and not just thinking that I'm
Mom.
Just there to function as like a robot. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which is what I was doing. I think that's fair enough. And I'm feeling like, well, I just did this inner child meditation that it was really quick, but the point was basically like we went back to the house where I grew up, and I was looking at these toys and thinking, Parker's always wanting to play. We're always a little bit rushed. I feel like he doesn't really get enough time to play at home, and I sort of saw how that was a thing for me when I was growing up, and how I just wanted my parents, who were really busy, to slow down and play. I mean, they did a bunch of things. We did a lot of things, but like just the playing with like Littlest Pet Shop, for example, was literally the thing. Mm-hmm. So I thought, I'm going to do that. That's all. That's and great. I've been doing that a little, and it helps a lot with our connection. I'm going to stop talking after this. I promise. Parker's been, I've been leaning into faces because he thinks they're so, he'll just like lose it laughing and go, you are so funny. And I'm like, what? Oh, there's no deeper validation than that.
No, there isn't.
You are funny.
Yeah,
he means it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was doing Winnie the Pooh. I was like telling the story and doing the voices for Penny last night, going to bed and making her laugh pretty hard. Felt pretty good.
That's it.
That's it, yeah. I told you I didn't have anything.
You do. I saw your phone and all your notes.
That's not my notes. This is all stupid short film notes.
That counts.
I did. Ava she's not been home the last 4 nights. She did a double sleepover this weekend. And then for like Sunday night, because Monday was a holiday, she spent the night at the grandparents and then slept over at the same friends again last night on a school night.
Big time.
And
whoa, so stressful.
It's all like, I know she's having so much fun, and I love that. I'm happy she's having fun. And then I just started to have this feeling of like, does she like being over there better than here?
Of course she does.
And then trying not to take that personally.
Did you like being at your own house by yourself?
How many
or at a
episodes
friend's
have I like whined about like, just give me my space?
Right.
And then 4 days without her, I'm like, like, does she miss us? Is she excited about coming back? But I think I also just thought that we would be that house. And maybe someday we will. Mm-hmm. I just thought we would be the house that the friends want to come hang and sleep over. And that's just not the case. Out of all her friends, she's the most like down for whatever, wherever. Mm-hmm. She's the least particular. So I love that about her. I think that's great. But it means that our house is not the central place, which is fine. I'm like, I have a 3-year-old.
Got plenty of energy going on.
It's not the time. Yeah, it's not the time. Anyway, there's that.
Did she come home today?
She will after school, yeah. I think.
Then you'll know.
But it does feel nice to miss her and to be like, oh, I wonder how her day was. And I also am not, sometimes I worry that I'm not checking in enough. But I also know that that's how I grew up. Like, Mom and Dad never checked in on me. I never checked. Like, it was just so, like, no news is good news.
Right.
So that's how I've always parented, too. It's like, I'm sure everything's fine. She's having a great time. Talk about it when she gets home.
Well, it's such a magical age. Like, I remember when my kids were that age, and you could go hang out with friends anywhere who had the same age kids, and they would just go off for hours and hours and hours, have the best time. Everybody had a friend. It was like, if there was conflict, it's because like somebody fell and scraped their knee, Right. It's just a magical time.
And like double sleepovers are so fun.
Right.
Like I like being able to go, sure, we don't care. Yeah, you can stay wherever. But yeah, I don't know. I was feeling a little insecure, I guess. But I'm fine now. It passed.
She's 10?
11.
Okay. Just thinking about I don't know. Yeah, double sleepovers. I did those.
Well, also, like, you never want to be at your own house.
But all her friends do.
Well,
Want to be at their own homes?
Yeah.
with Ava, right? Like, Ava makes it really fun to be at their house.
I mean, maybe.
But also, you can't, coming from the older sister, you can't underestimate the way Penny may dampen their play.
Bro.
It might not be about you. I know,
Well,
it was really
also,
fun.
her friends have younger siblings, but that are older.
Right,
And so
right.
they will have friends over too. So it's
Yeah.
like probably more of like a group clubhouse
Right,
vibe.
exactly.
Yeah, I think I'm just jealous that that's happening somewhere else and that I don't get to, I don't know, be a part of it or be a part in Ava's mind that like I'm a part of facilitating the fun.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm cool.
Have you've done sleepovers at your house?
Yeah.
Of course.
Do you like doing that?
Yeah. I'm a way better mom if another kid is there that I can impress.
Is it like exhausting though? Or are you having fun?
No,
Like you
when
want
another kid is there to entertain Ava, it's the same as her being out at a sleepover somewhere. I mean, I don't have to like get them figure out dinner and make sure they're in bed at a certain time. So there's less responsibility if it's not at my house, but it's definitely not a burden to have people sleep over.
When we were little, anytime friends came over to our house, Mom gave everybody chores. And I would get so mad at her. I was like, nobody's ever going to want to come over and play with me because you just make them work. And she was like, they like it.
Yeah, we did. I wasn't always. We went to my one friend's house who's like her parents were more permissive, and what I remember about being at our house was that my mom's snacks were healthy, and I was like, she cooked like little red potatoes and like something that I would love now.
Sure.
Right.
Because
Which
you're
is
an
like,
adult.
right? Well, part of what is part of and I was like, ugh.
Oh, I just remember going over to Leah's house, not having a baby brother there. This is even before you were born. And she was an only child. And it was just like, she had 2 rooms. She had a playroom and a sleeping room.
Dang.
And when it came time to eat, she either had like the Minute Maid juice boxes and toaster strudels, or we would go to McDonald's and get our own Happy Meal, one I didn't have to split with Jerry. So why would I ever not want to go to Leah's house? It was like
Sharing a
winning
Happy
the
Meal.
lottery.
It's like a nugget per kid.
Once a family member took us to, I was like, basically the only child because I was 8 years to my brother closest to me. And I was used to getting a hamburger Happy Meal with an extra hamburger, please. And
Sarah.
and when my family member took me and she was like, we're not getting an extra hamburger. I was like, which she's one of my favorites. She let Aunt Nan.
We love Aunt Ann.
I don't remember exactly the context, but of course it was like, what? You don't need an extra hamburger, crazy? But you were sweet about it. And I was like, what? Like, this will not stand. The first thing I said when I went home. And then later we stayed with you again, stayed with you because I'm talking to you again. And we went to the food court and I was like thinking, okay, well, what do I just need to, Mom, you need to just send me, I'm going to get my own thing. I don't want to have to like negotiate I want 17 things and the drinks. Silly. Please, we're going to have to cut that out. I think I feel bad about it. Saying that. You were fantastic. You literally helped raise me. You're
Yeah,
wonderful.
That's the whole point. Like, that's the whole point of
What?
parenting adults. Like, if you don't like half the things they did, then they don't count. Like, that's the whole point.
I would come home from one friend's house, and my mom always would take, she was a great cook, but put a lot of effort into cooking. And I came home from my one friend's house, and I was like, you need to find out how so-and-so's mom makes eggs, because those are the best eggs I've ever had. And she asked her, and she cooked them in the microwave.
What?
I know what you're talking about. I remember that discovery.
They were like rubber,
Yeah.
and I loved it.
Well, you know what they're like in the, speaking of McDonald's.
Yes, exactly like that.
Exactly.
I was like, wow, this yolk tastes amazing.
Solid.
Somebody was asking my kids what the best thing about being my kids was or is. And both of them said my insane strictness about screens and phones. And they're like, it was the thing we hated the most about her being our mom. Like, we still look back and hate it so much. And yet today we're like, that was the very best thing about her. So I'm like, that's kind of when you've hit your sweet spot, when they're complaining about it. And
they also get it.
Right.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do.
Exactly. I don't remember the last time I was here, so I don't know if I've done any like New Year's updates or not. Did I?
You've talked.
I don't think so.
I don't even know if you've talked about the house that you did a little bit. I think
about the house. I think. Well, my sort of, I don't know, updates or happy things or whatever. I got really obsessed with water. Have I told y'all about this?
No.
Parker is too. Aww.
So, one of the things that I feel like the theme of this year is, and maybe it will be the theme of the rest of my life, is the idea of essentials. Like, what do you actually need? So, like, nobody actually needs money, right? What they need is what money gives to them. So money is like a secondary thing that,
gets
you what you need. And so I've been like, what do we really, really need? And so water is obviously one of the most essentials. Well, one of my sweet friends worked at a water store. It's actually called The Water Store in Franklin. Oh, I'm so obsessed. Y'all can try some of this is the drinking water.
Where they sell Berkeys.
8.5 pH, which matches like your internal pH system. But you also can get them to adjust the pH levels to like for cleaning water versus for water that you put on your skin and that you water plants with. They all have different pH levels. And I'm having so much fun with it. That's why I'm getting mom and dad their water. Because I'm like, I want them to have the very best water. But the really cool thing is if you see like tap water like under a microscope and it's almost like what you'd imagine seeing under a microscope, right? Sort of blobby, whatever. And then this water, which has gone through these like crazy processes and whatever, that water under a microscope has all the shapes of like snowflakes. And like, so you see how much easier it is for your cells to take in. Anyway, I'm obsessed with it. I love it. So that's been really, really fun for me. And just having that thing of like, I want more water. Just that is really fun. And then the second thing, two other things I want to tell you about. The second thing is I came across this book called A Life of One's Own, written in the 1930s. And I cannot remember the name of the author right now, but she actually started writing it at the end of the 20s. And her idea was, I don't know why I'm not happy. Like, I have everything that I should have to be happy. I need to be happy, and I'm not. And so she took her own life and said, what does make me happy? And basically had this idea that she was going to find out what made her happy and add more of that and take away less, right? And it's like her journal. Like, it could never be written today. It's so strange. Like, it's just stream of consciousness kind of journal, like, just so interesting. The way writing was even done that time period. And she was a woman in the 1930s. Like, I think she had a profession, which was not common.
I can think of like 40 reasons off the top of my head. She probably wasn't.
Right. Exactly. And, anyway, what she stumbles upon, what she really discovers about what makes her happy keeps morphing. And she keeps thinking, I'm going to it's this thing that would make me happy. And she said, it never is.
Right.
It's all of these moments, which Sarah just brought me a little quote, which you can share if you want to. She said, it's every single time I keep thinking I'm grabbing a hold of the thing that gets me happy, I realize there's nothing out there that makes me happy. It's all of a sudden in these like unexpected moments when I'm lost in a moment. And anyway, it is really something about it. I feel so connected to this woman. Like, there are things she writes in her journal that are almost word for word things, like almost like it's me. Like, I wrote this book in the 30s and I have reincarnated as this.
That would
like,
explain a lot, I think.
Deeply, deeply connected to her. Like, crazy specific things that I'm just like, I've never heard anybody else say or think. So that's been really special. And I'm taking it very slow. It's not a reading, you're not like page turning reading. And then I told y'all I had a writing partner. And
for another book.
Yeah. And I am loving this process. Like, it's every single day that I'm writing, I have that feeling of only I could do this. Like, this is the thing only I could do. So,
Wow.
like, when you, I hate Facebook Marketplace so much. Oh my God. So,
Well, you need to circle back to that, but go ahead.
So I've been working on this house, right? Working on getting this house, this super cool, crazy thing that we call the gallery. And the guy who owns the house he loves Facebook Marketplace, and it's almost everything in the house is furnished. Like, real furniture is from there. And so there'd be a few times it's like, okay, I'll go pick it up, whatever. Like, you spend your whole day like lining up this perfect timing to go meet someone to get something. Who cares if it's for free? Like, I just spent my whole day driving around.
Coordinating.
And then like having the right car for the right size. I'm just like, it is the most, like anybody could do this. Like, if there was automatic cars, they could go do it. And you could like, type it into your little Amazon factory thing. And so and I'll have that thought, think of how much I could have written today. And like, nobody else can write what I'm writing. Like, nobody else has in their head what I have in my head, or is organizing it this way. And it has just been such a deeply gratifying process. And then, but what I'm holding at the same time is I'm not making money writing. Like, that's not how I'm making a living. I'm making a living by like a wish and a prayer every day. So then also holding this like space of, okay, could I go get this, hourly job? Should I be doing more of this? Like, but when I'm writing, like, everything in me is just aligned and connected. And so trying to stay, one of my incredible mentors, Amy Alexander, who runs the Refuge Center for Counseling, she would always say to me, follow the energy. Like, that's like, get in that lane. And so I have this incredible energy around writing, but so much fear and all the uncertainty of what's not getting done when I'm doing that. So that's my little February update.
I think it's really good that you're listening to that, follow your energy, and also hearing it and pushing through the fear of this, because if you can function in this way, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there are a bunch of instances of it, but I haven't heard of, many stories where that doesn't pan out well.
It's true.
Like, that's really good. That's a good thing.
Good point. And then you also have to lose connection with what pan out well means, right? Like, is it going to mean I get this stuff, I have these things, or is it going to mean this, like, oh, I am at peace with myself and who I am.
That's what you get.
Right.
Take it.
Thanks. Jeez.
Yeah, no expectations. Maybe there's like a pathway for side income on Facebook Marketplace where you could just buy and resell things. That is maddening. One time, have you ever put anything for free on Facebook Marketplace? Like, what happens is crazy.
A frenzy.
Wow.
Do tell.
Anything good. It's like, I don't even know, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of messages, nonstop, just, frenzy. It's insane.
You're like, what?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to give something away.
Anyway.
I was just going to say that last sentence you said about, like, if I follow the energy, what's falling apart behind me if I move towards this? And it just reminded me of I feel like that's a theme in motherhood that comes up a lot, is that there's always a sacrifice, and you never know which things you're allowed to sacrifice, what the consequence of the sacrifice will be, how great it will be, especially if it has to do with your kids. And
so my writing partner's name is Revital. First of all, that's a beautiful name. Do you know what it means?
No.
Morning dew.
In what language?
Hebrew.
Wow.
Incredibly beautiful person. I just love her so much. And so she's writing a book on happiness, and I'm writing this book on
water.
Basically, of course. Media trauma, but the other side of that coin. So I have to, like, at some point we'll play around with like what my book titles, whatever. I want to hear y'all's thoughts, but I'm not ready for it to come out of its embryonic phase yet. And so when we were, so she basically is telling me, who she is and what she knows. And then what I'm like, I've never heard this. Please talk about this. Please write about this. So she does a lot of, research on what basically makes people happy for real. And big surprise, it's never what any of us continue to pursue over and over again, in spite of all the research. And I said, I want there to be a part of your book that reveals, like interviews people who actually follow this path. And we were talking about how there's a reason people don't follow this path, because the traditional path of what we think will be happy or give us security or whatever, does give us those things. It gives us certain things, right? That if we follow this way, we're not going to have. And that it is a different kind of person that can actually live that out. So that has been a really fun, like you're saying, you might, this is like going to cause people to have a reaction, but
Can't control that.
Put on your seatbelts.
but just my getting divorced was like very much a part of me, following something much, much deeper inside of me than was logically I could connect to. And one of the things that happened in that process is that I lost my health insurance. And it has been an incredibly difficult and expensive thing to get back into the system. But I have a capacity to live without health insurance, and like a lot of the population doesn't, right? Like I can live in the tension of, okay, what does that mean? And I don't have blah, 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 blah. And that's the kind of thing that when you hear all of the self-help of do this and follow this, whatever, what you have to let go of, it's not, we haven't grown up in America being able to let go of those kinds of
security.
Yeah, securities. So, yeah. And that's just like not even the tip of the iceberg of what I've had to let go of. It's just a tangible, piece of it.
Yeah, I just got everybody's cards. Like I have a card for everyone,
Wow.
and I can't explain the feeling I had knowing I have everybody's updated insurance card.
No, it's like finding birth certificates or yes. That's amazing. Car titles. It's magic.
Oh my gosh. Jeremy was about to walk out the door the other day, and he's looking at me, and we're talking, and my glasses were all smudged, and I took them off, and I went to wipe them, and they just snapped in half. And I looked up at him, and then I just put my head in the pillow, and he was like, "Are you okay?" And I just shook my head, still in the pillow. He said, "Are you crying?" Nodded. Because all I could think of was the 14 things I'm going to have to do to get new glasses, because all my irresponsibility has led up to this moment, which means I've already been on my last pair of contacts for like 6 months. And they weren't even my real prescription. I don't wear them often. I wear my glasses all the time. And so I was just like, well, I got to go. I got to get a prescription updated and then order the contacts and order new whatever. I was I can't. I don't want to do any of this.
Do you bring the kit or do you not bring the kit? Like it's so much. It's so much.
Yeah. And then, of course, all is fine. I had my eye doctor appointment yesterday. That part's over. But it's when I'm hit with before the first step has been taken is when I'm just I'm just in quicksand, and I'm just going to go curl up in a ball and someone just wake me up when everything's been fixed for me.
It's true. It's true.
Looking at the car wash. Honk, beep, beep, look at the car wash. Yeah. Did you know that Sarah and I both work at a car wash? Isn't that exciting? And also so odd. And it's called Camel Express Car Wash, and it's an incredible company, and they're making some changes soon to their
offerings. Our top wash will now include this thing that's called graphene. And these are real facts, okay, about graphene that I know just an inordinate amount about. It won a Nobel Prize, this material. It's thinner than an atom, and it adheres, it's used for all kinds of crazy things like insane atom splitting, really smart stuff. But it also is being used in car washes, and it's like a wax coating and it can adhere to all the surfaces of your cars in a way that like wax has never been able to before. And it's incredibly thin, but also incredibly strong. So it protects and repels water. And because it's so thin and it like adheres into every single like little surface on the like paint of your car, then I'm doing a great job, guys.
I'm
It reflects
interested.
light and it makes your car look like brighter and shinier than like it even does regularly. It's like really interesting, cool stuff. So that is the top wash. Yeah. You can visit Camel Express Car Wash and get a free The Best Wash by texting code MOMCULT to 30400. And you can try that new product, graphene, today.
I'm excited to try it.
Wow, me too.
Yeah.
Tell me again where the locations are.
CamelExpress.com/locations.
Oh, I just wanted to know.
Oh, in real
She's
life?
not going to get on the internet, though.
Get on the internet.
She's going to drive
geez.
around until she sees one.
I'm just going to follow the energy.
Follow that graphene energy, baby.
East Nashville, Bordeaux, Hendersonville, Mount Juliet, and Antioch.
Okay.
So you just take yourself on a little journey.
I'm going to go to all of them. Are we talking about what we want to talk about today?
I have nothing to talk about today.
Nothing. Why do you say you have nothing?
Because we recorded last week.
Oh, y'all just recorded.
This is
so
like
what do you want
the
to talk about?
Closest back to back.
I thought that your thing that you were going to say was the glasses thing. I just remembered just now.
Oh,
That's
that
a
would be
good
my
one.
check-in.
Yeah, that is a good
It just
check-in.
wasn't. I feel like my check-in always needs to be mom related, and
It is mom related.
I guess
No
so.
one who doesn't have kids cries when their glasses break.
No.
Something weird just happened. Did y'all hear that?
it's just the gate. If we all get quiet, it goes.
Oh, that was weird.
It takes all
Oh,
the
in
noise
your
out of the room.
ears?
Yeah. That was an experience. I liked it. It was a little out of body.
Interesting.
Okay.
It's that water.
It's that water. See, you have a sip too. Come on, drink up.
Oh, I've got something.
Ooh.
Go.
I don't think I've talked about this on here, but I have the breast cancer gene. Have I talked about that?
No.
So I have BRCA2. Let's see. Just for like public, what is it called? The thing that you say, like public report. What's that word?
I don't know.
PSA.
Oh.
Okay, I got the genetic test. It took a year to get I had to book it a year in advance at Vanderbilt. They test your blood. I tested for 80-something things that they can test for that are like the known markers for various stuff. Some stuff they understand, some they don't. I had BRCA2, or BRCA, BRCA, in my family, which I understood to be just the breast cancer gene. And it's like all over my dad's side of the family. So a couple of weeks go by and then or maybe it was like a month even, and they call you in for the results and review them with you. I don't know if they would do that if you weren't positive. I think they might actually. And so that's the only thing that I had was BRCA2, which means it's the breast cancer gene. It's also, your odds are increased based on your family history too. And also I should say, it's not like a perfect science. A lot of doctors that I've spoken to, I can see them kind of go, ugh. Like internally,
right.
like they're like, ugh, well, you don't really know, because it's not a perfect science, but it's an indicator. And you have like an increased risk for ovarian cancer and skin cancer and pancreatic cancer with BRCA2. So it's not great news. And it was like a grieving process. But basically, we have been thinking about having kids or having another one. And I'm also having another one. I can only have one, I guess. And I'm 37, so we were already thinking that. So we're going to move in that direction. And then, like, they don't tell you what to do, but it's like a lot of people, well, either you can like monitor it, but there's no real.
You're just gonna get those puppies taken.
Right. You get a mastectomy and or a hysterectomy is another thing that people do. You can't, there's not like a proper, it doesn't seem to me that there's like a screening that would make me feel comfortable for ovarian cancer. So that is something that I'm also considering, and that sends you into early menopause. And that would be fine if I can like take hormones, but I'm not, you're not really, I don't think you're guaranteed that. So that I'm thinking about. And we have several friends in our, friend group who have done various versions of that for different reasons. And so most of the time I'm like fine about it, but I was really sad about it. And so there you go. There's that. So.
Dang.
It's a lot of information. Like about yourself, and a lot of, it's like now you have these resources that give you this information that now put this whole other, all these choices you have to make. And it's very godlike, right? It's like, how do I know? How do I know the right things that I'm supposed to do? And it's a lot. Mm-hmm. I mean, that I think it's no less about staying, like following the energy. Like what, you have it never, ever, ever, just like we were saying, following the energy usually pays off. Following fear doesn't. Mm-hmm. And so having this, like, how do I get this sort of, it's not all knowing, but this kind of more knowing than we're used to having in human history. How do I take that information and still make it line up with something that it's not being led by fear. It's still being led by life. It's still being led by something that's pulling me toward a future and not trying to avoid all of, the pain and suffring of human existence.
Fear just disguises itself as energy all the time. Like, I still feel where the energy is.
Right? No kidding.
Trying to figure out how to decipher that.
Right. Did I tell you about when I taught Revital's class so it's freshman in college. It was a super small class. And I asked them the last time they had a fight that was not through text. So these are 18, 19-year-olds. 0. They almost don't have any experience of having a fight in real life.
Whoa.
And it ended up our whole topic, and I let them completely lead the conversation, but it was the first time I'd ever had this like classroom experience of text. So we didn't talk about social media. We didn't talk about internet. We didn't talk about like classic, media trauma stuff. We just talked about texting. Mm-hmm. And it was amazing. They taught me a lot. So I kind of want to talk about that more because it's like the thing we're not covering. And I was like, you know what? This is just in my personal life. If you receive a text that triggers you, right or wrong, right? In your imagination, or it really was, never text that person back.
Right.
Never. Mm-hmm. What happens to us when we start texting back? Who knows what actually came at us or not, right? And how have we not deeply internalized this rule? Well, it's like, don't drink and drive. Don't get upset and text. Ever.
Mm-hmm. This is like a central theme in our couples therapy. Uh-huh. It's like dead serious. Like there's
of course.
He can't do this thing. And my thing is the texting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you for validating that.
It is, serious. And I have I've thought a lot about it.
It's so pretend. It's so beyond pretend.
Well, and I feel braver. And I think, and when I said that, you said only, were you middle sentence? Sorry, I get excited and I overtalked you.
No,
go ahead, please. Go. No, I can remember my thing.
I forgot mine though, so I canceled it out.
No.
Damage has been done, Sarah. Go.
Ravital and the texting.
It was as if what the students gave back to me in that conversation was it was dramatic. 98% of the conflict in their lives would not exist without texting. Mm-hmm. I mean, what's that doing to all of us, right?
I said wow, but I also feel like I might be one of the first generations that was where at least me, that was my experience too. And I had a lot of conflict in relationships in high school that was all over text, and it was just not good. And that's a pattern, really. So that is something that I have to work hard not to feed and to notice that feeling. And there's this, for me, this is, singular. I don't know if everybody, whatever, maybe you can relate. I have this breathless feeling of I want to be understood, and I feel like I'm not being understood. And it's because of how I speak. Obviously you guys have heard how sometimes I can meander, and I don't want to be understood. I'm better written, but what will happen in texting is I circle the thing, or I say too much. And what it used to be for us. I mean, just hours and hours, just the crazy stuff. I mean, that's very vulnerable, but I mean, it's a completely different thing now. And we're both very aware of that.
But also you're acting like this is unique to you.
Yeah,
right?
I don't know if
You
it is because it seems psychotic.
right. Because that is, and I mean, I will not go into the details of teaching, but there are some very specific things that happen to us mentally when it comes to texts that make us psychotic. So I invited my friend over, like, I was like, hey, come over Tuesday night, whatever. I live 5 minutes from her house. But usually I try very hard to like only text logistical things, unless it's like, I love you so much, I miss you, or how about Tuesday at 2? So I had texted her, you know, you want to come over Tuesday night? Yeah. And so we're like making the plans that day or whatever. And she texts back, I think that I didn't even know I could get together until like 8. And she was like, I want to do it closer to 4. And so I'm at this like 4-hour difference of window that totally changes my whole day. And I'm like, why can't you come over? Like, what's the deal? You know, whatever. I'm thinking this, but the text is just, and I think I need to be done by 6. That's what it said. I need to be done by 6.
You're saying that, or she said
is.
that? Okay.
And I was like, well, I wasn't even thinking we were going to get started. And like, what's
Right.
this about? This like 4 to 6 o'clock window? And geez, does she not even want to be with me? Right? Like, I'm just kidding. And then she comes up with my experience of it is like, she's coming up with this weird excuse that like, it's really stormy and dark. These are like the dark days of winter when it gets dark at 4:30. It's going to be so dark and the roads are going to be so windy. And I was like, is there like, oh, maybe there's like a tornado, you know, maybe I don't pay attention to when everybody else freaks out. It's like, oh, maybe there's a storm. She did tell me her eyesight's getting really bad at night. I wonder if it's getting so bad she does not want to drive at night. So I'm trying to like, this whole imaginary story, right?
Right.
But I'm also getting very angry and hurt and trying to get the, like, it's better than, like, surely.
Is she not telling me the truth?
Yeah.
Why isn't she just saying
and then, like,
what the thing is?
Can I believe that what the best about her? And then maybe her eyesight is going and I feel so bad. And so I'm like, do you want me to come pick you up? Like, if I pick you up, can we do it later? Because she lives 5 minutes from my house. And so I typed that in, and then finally she calls. Well, it ends up, she thought I was at the gallery, which is about 40 minutes away. It is on these back twisty, windy roads. It was so dark. Like, all of a sudden, as soon as I realized, she thought she had a 40-hour drive, 40 hours, 40-minute drive home, whatever. All of a sudden, we're just laughing. Like, I'm so glad I called back because you would have done all of that and gone to the house where I'm not
Wrong
even
house.
there. And it was just like, that's the tiniest version.
I hate it. Yeah.
The tiniest version of how crazy text can make you. And it wasn't windy, it was windy. Which we went back and forth like,
Stupid English.
How do you spell that differently?
You
Is it spelled?
You got to put an emoji or something with it.
Like a snake.
Yeah. A squiggle.
And just like, that wasn't even an emotionally charged conversation,
Just
right?
Logistical.
Yeah.
It's wild.
So just, I don't know.
makes
That's
me mad.
my little, I just want to say, if all of us could like challenge each other to never, ever, ever react to, if you have an emotional reaction to a text, no matter what it says,
Don't respond.
just, I mean, call, just call.
Eric does a really good job now of not responding. It happens very rarely. And also I've been doing, well, I don't know what he would say, but I've been doing better not texting. And I've also just not been upset. Whatever. Knock on wood.
Well, sometimes also you will send me a screenshot of your text and be like, I shouldn't send this, right?
Have I done that?
Yeah. Rough draft.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think our therapist said to do that.
Well, yeah, and also you get
that's good. I
to send
didn't
it.
even
Yeah,
remember
well,
that.
I think you can
get to
text
send
it. You can get it out and then just not send.
Oh, yeah. I do that with, like at work stuff. Yeah. But something that I did the other day that I don't normally do, because really, I have this whole process and I don't follow all the steps always, but okay, maybe I start now. This is the beginning of whatever. First of all, I just cannot have the phone in the room. It has to be in the other room. And I'm supposed to wait 20 minutes, circle back 20 minutes.
You mean if you're triggered by something?
Yeah, like if we get in an argument and it's not going well, then I can't have my phone near me. I mean, I'm like, it's like an addict.
Yeah, of course. It's not just you. It's not just you.
I put it away and then I go in the other room. But the other day I picked up, I didn't have my phone, which was helpful. I didn't turn on the TV, also helpful. And then I just kind of calmed down and I wasn't even really that upset, which is maybe part of the reason why it was kind of easier. But I picked up a book. I don't normally do that.
You were functioning fully in your frontal lobe. I am
What?
very impressed.
Yeah. And then, well, just like a happy ending stories that I was like reading, and Eric came in and said like something funny. And then I just kind of looked at him, and he knew like maybe he needed, I'm sorry for the thing that I said. And I was like, thanks. And he's, you don't have anything to say?
No
And I was
rebuttal?
Like, I do not. No. I often do, but I didn't. And then he like went and got ice cream as a peace offering, which I thought was cute.
Because he doesn't have a dog costume.
Right.
Okay, go on.
No.
No, that's it. That's the end of my thing. But I think that the point was, and you didn't need the whole story. The point was to diffuse in that moment, like some of the things that I've said to do before, like write in a journal instead of, if I'm really upset, because that's whenever I need to like type things out and then end up going over to text to say it. Cause I'm like, oh, this is the thing I needed to say. And it's like, you don't just say it in person. So circle back in 20 minutes. And if you're still too upset, then wait 24 hours.
Right.
Yeah. Which is what they say.
What? A lot of waiting.
That's a lot of
A
patience.
lot of feelings.
Yeah.
A lot of patience.
A lot of
You're going to have to say
self-control.
what your dog comment
Yeah.
was, because no one's
too
no
late.
one's
Of
gonna
course,
understand.
I know.
Yeah, okay.
But I really wanted you to tell the story because it was your
No,
experience. I experienced
You're
it
gonna
for a lot
remember
of
it more
years.
than me. I mean, I know
So-
what you're talking about, but not the specific. So was there more than one?
I always
probably?
tell people, like, I'll be like, well, have you met my dad? And they're like, I'm not sure. I'll be like, then you haven't met my dad. Right? There's not like yeah. So he is truly, I really think he might be the most unique person to ever live on the planet Earth. And so one of the quirks of his personality is that he cannot apologize. He cannot do it.
That's what Jeremy thinks about me.
That's really funny. So we all have a bit of him, obviously. And so I have my version of it. Again, I'm 8-9 years difference between Joy and I. So my version was very similar to Eric's. Or what my dad would do is if he knew he had done something wrong, my feelings are hurt, I'm angry. He can never be like, I'm sorry. He
found other ways.
He found other ways. So he always made me a snack.
Yeah, one time he got me sushi.
Oh, this is the advancement. I think I got hot dogs. Sometimes it was like a hot fudge sundae. I don't know, some random thing he just has to make and hand to you. And then okay, this is the best he can do. I can accept the spirit of this. I don't, okay. I forgive you. And you don't say that because he didn't say he was
There's
sorry.
nothing to say.
But it was a peace offering and we move forward. However, he, with Joy, he took this, he leveled up. So who knows what you were fighting over?
I have no idea what the
But you
scenario
were
was.
pissed. You were so pissed. And he knew.
How old was I?
You were like,
High school?
it was like, no, Loveless Cafe days.
Oh.
Well, you still lived at home, but Cammie was living there too. So you were post, 18.
Yeah.
And he didn't know what to do with not adult children. So anyway, you got so mad at him. And he knew, like, damn, I am in trouble. But what is he supposed to do? How could he possibly get out of this one? Because if Joy gets mad at you, it's like, and he cannot handle her doing anything but like joking around with
Right.
him. That was my
Performing.
job. Like, it was probably the first experience he ever had having conflict with you. Do you remember? Are you going to take us to this moment? So you were actually already eating, so he couldn't bring you any snacks or food.
It must have been tough for him.
So, but he found a way because my dad, being my dad, has a dog costume, like a full adult size, like
Mascot
mask,
dog
like
costume.
You're at Disney World and they have full on cartoon characters.
Yeah.
This dog has a name and everything.
They named him Mistletoe.
Mistletoe. He's been in
He did
parades.
the Franklin Parade one time. Or
Leaper's Fork. Yeah, he does all sorts of things. Kids come up and get his autograph with his big paws and pictures. And when he is dressed up as the dog, he lives in the world he was made for. Like, people just run to him and hug him. And he's like, yes, this is how it should be all the time. So basically, Joy's sitting there eating her whatever, pissed at him. And he comes upstairs in his dog costume, just standing there looking at her. She's was like, I think you said...
It's not going to work. I don't know. I would assume I said something sarcastic.
I think you said, is this your apology? Is this your way of apologizing to me?
Is that what's happening right now?
He just stood there. He didn't nod, didn't shake his head. He just stood there in his dog costume. He was like, basically, everybody else loves me when I dress up like this. I thought maybe this
That's all I got.
This is the best I've got.
So that's how the Wises came to be.
Wow.
That's how we deal with conflict.
We can't text because of the big pause.
Right. Oh, man.
I've been watching The Nanny while I fall asleep. It's on Max for anybody who's every season. Did y'all watch that?
Mm-hmm. Just a little bit.
I loved it. Mm-hmm. I didn't remember loving it, and then I'm watching it, and there's a lot of things that are incredibly sexist and ageist, and she's over 30, and that's the whole show.
Wow.
It's just like, oh my God, what are we going to do with this?
What's your purpose?
Over 30. Oh, wow. Like there's this one part where she's like about to get married, and then like her car breaks down, and she calls this guy, and he's like, well, we can't do that. The roads are crazy. Can't get to you. And she's like, I'm getting married tomorrow. I don't know how, whatever. I'm over 30, and they send a helicopter because that's like so tragic.
I mean, that is funny.
It really is.
It is so funny. It's so funny, and she is so funny in that. I'm just so loving watching her, and just fabulous lady. The point is, there's this one part where there's this other actress who I recognize. We should all know her name because she's wonderful, and she's just visiting character and one of the nanny's mom's best friends. The point is, there are these two characters that are apologizing to each other.
There we go. There it is.
There's this one part where there are these two characters that are apologizing to each other. These two mature Jewish New York ladies, and they subtitle it. And like this one lady is offering to buy this other lady an outfit, and they're complimenting each other's outfits, and that's the way that they're apologizing. And then and then the beef is squashed whenever they, hug, and she promises to bring her this thing, and and they laugh at each other's jokes. That's the way that they apologize. Anyway, you got to see it.
So human. I believe you.
Season 3, episode.
I will look it up. It's good.
Well, I think you should read your quote. This was a really, really great way for us to end today.
I saw this on the way out of my therapist's office. Let me be aware of the treasure that you are. Let me learn from you, love you, bless you before you depart. Let me not pass you by in quest of some rare and perfect tomorrow. That's by Mary Jean Iron, the incomparable Mary Jean Iron.
Mary Jean Iron. What a strong name.
Iron, really?
I know. Anyway.
Well, thanks, Sarah. Thanks, Joy.
Thanks, Jenny.
You can follow us at
Momcult
Podcast on Instagram or themomcult.com.
You can listen there or wherever you get your podcast. And you can not follow Jenny.
Definitely don't.
But you can listen to Jenny's podcast, which is called
Lose the Phone.
Thank you. It's very good.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.